Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul.
Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul.
Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is a rising in my soul.
Good morning. Welcome everyone to White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church. We are a congregation in the free faith tradition, a community of youth, adults, and children dedicated to pluralism in the spiritual search and ethics grounded in action. I am Reverend Jack Gady, Assistant Minister. We're grateful to share this space with you. Fellow service participants today include Reverend Sarah Goodman and Nico Van Ostrand, supported by Aaron Scott and Anna Garris. Today, after the service at 11:15, we hope that you'll join us for our cyber social hour. We'll put the Zoom link and easy instructions into the chat box. Welcome to our church. Together we grow our souls and serve the world.
Come in. Come into the space which we make holy by our presence. Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves and hopes, for here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be. Come into this space where we can heal and be healed. Heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. Come into this space where the ordinary is sanctified, the human is celebrated, compassionate is expected. Come into this space. Together, we make it a holy space. Peggy Hinsman will light our chalice.
A friend of mine sent me these words by Haruki Murakami. And once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain. When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. That's what this storm's about. To me, these words seem to fit our summer theme, which is mythology, the practice of shaping our stories. When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. Maybe this unusual time in history is providing us a chance to step back or step into our stories. Maybe it's a time to shape or even reshape them. Have you spoken your story out loud? Are you happy with it? Is this a time to reevaluate our stories? To me, it seems like the perfect time to take a look. So today, I light the chalice in support of writing, reviewing, and checking out the true stories, ours and those of others, the stories we want to share and those we want to support.
Please join me in the opening words. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Our opening hymn is number 34, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire.
Though I may speak with bravest fire and have the gift to all inspire and have not love, my words are vain as sounding brass and hopeless gain. Though I may give all I possess and striving so my love profess, but not begin by love within, the prophet soon turns strangely thin. Come, Spirit, come, our hearts control, our spirits long to be made whole. Let inward love guide every deed. By this we worship and are free.
This morning's story was inspired by a tale called The Emperor's New Clothes, which has been adapted and retold in Spain, Germany, India, and elsewhere, and it has been adapted once more in its telling today. There was once a child named Minda who lived near the palace of the king. Minda loved watching people bustling past her home, going to and from the castle. She admired the bright, scaly fish being carried up to royal banquets. She was especially fond of the musicians with their bamboo flutes. Minda thought it must be lovely to be the king, surrounded by fancy things, important people, and beautiful music. One day, Minda sat in her doorway watching the people go by. Her attention was drawn to a man in fancy clothing, a fine, spotless white barong with the most intricate design she had ever seen embroidered into the front. "Excuse me, sir," Minda called out. "I have never seen such beautiful clothes. Where did you find this design?" The man turned with a smile. "Why," he said, "I made it myself. I'm on my way to see the king, to show him my craft and offer to make a royal outfit. Do you think he will be impressed by my skill?" "I do not know anyone on the whole island who would not be in awe of your skill," Minda said respectfully. The man laughed. "You are kind, little girl." He leaned in closer and lowered his voice. "Let me tell you a secret. I have a special cloth, a magical cloth, which cannot be seen by those with a kind heart. Anyone who looks upon it but cannot see it is surely untrustworthy and evil, and should be sent away from the island immediately. Untrustworthy and evil, who on her island could be such horrible things? A terrifying thought struck her. What if I can't see it? Would you like to look at this magical cloth? Minda turned and ran back into her house, slamming the door behind her. She was too scared to look at the cloth. Minda didn't think she was untrustworthy and evil, and she certainly did not want to be cast out of the kingdom, but what if she couldn't see the cloth? Several days passed, and Minda nearly forgot about the man and his beautiful clothes and magic cloth. But then posters began going up all over town that reminded her of her worry all over again. Royal Parade, the posters read. Tomorrow afternoon, come see the king in his new clothes made of special cloth that can only be seen by those who are kind at heart. Any person who cannot see the cloth is untrustworthy and evil and will be banished from the island immediately. That night at dinner, Minda could tell that both of her parents were worried. They didn't say much, and when Minda asked her dad how he was feeling, he said he was happy, but he tugged on his earlobe as he said it, the way he always did when he told a lie. Minda didn't know why her parents were pretending they weren't worried, when she could tell so clearly that they were. Finally, she decided to say something. Tatai, I'm worried. What if I can't see the cloth? Will I have to leave the island? Her parents looked at each other quickly. Then her dad said, Don't worry about it, Minda. But I am worried. Shush, Minda, come help clean up. Minda went to bed feeling worried and confused that night, and she woke up feeling the same way. She was not at all looking forward to the king's parade. Minda sighed a big, lonely sigh as she stood with her dad, waiting for the king to approach. Slowly, the king came into view, and it looked to Minda like he was wearing nothing but his underthings. Oh no, thought Minda, I can't see the cloth. Tatai, Minda whispered to her dad, can you see the cloth? Of course I can, he whispered back sharply, but he tugged on his earlobe as he said it, the way he always did when he told a lie. Minda looked around at the crowd. She wasn't sure why exactly, but it seemed to her that all of the grown-ups were feeling nervous. It made her feel nervous too. A scary thought hit Minda. What if no one in this town can see the cloth? What if we're all untrustworthy and evil? What if we all have to leave and live somewhere else? But that didn't seem right to Minda. She knew her own heart, and she knew that it was good. She knew that her parents' hearts were full of love. She knew that her teachers and friends and neighbors were kind. She thought that maybe everyone made mistakes or did mean things sometimes, but she didn't think that meant they were evil people. There must be some other explanation, Minda thought. Maybe the man with the fancy cloth lied. Maybe there really is no magic cloth at all. That must be it. All of the grown-ups were pretending to believe something that Minda knew was not true. Minda wasn't sure she was brave enough to say something, but she knew it wouldn't be fair if someone was banished from the island because of a lie. She knew she would feel better if all of the grown-ups would talk about why they were feeling so nervous. And she even thought the king would probably want to know, so he could put on a robe. She took a deep breath and said loudly, "We have all believed a lie. There is no magic cloth, and the king is wearing nothing at all." The king and the grown-ups felt very foolish indeed, but they knew Minda's words were true, and in the end, no one was banished from the island.
Please join me for a moment of prayer and meditation. Take a moment, settle in, and breathe deep the spirit of life and love, the spirit of mystery and wonder. We know the importance of carving out time for ourselves and for our well-being, and we know that this time is just as good as any other time to stop, to be still, to reflect, and to say out loud that we need help. We can't do this alone. We are not islands, but we are a small part of an intricate web, connecting to and supporting each other. May we bring awareness to these strands right now, tethers keeping us together, finely tuned strings that can sing a beautiful and harmonious melody. These strings are also ripe with tension. They are tuned to particular keys and particular notes. There are also chords of dissonance, conflicting melodies, syncopation, harmony. All of us together are experiencing joy and sorrow, hope and sickness, health and heaviness, levity and despair. In this calm and centered space, we are able to draw our focus to the people in our lives that need support right now. We often create time in this moment to think about the names of those who need our support. But today we're going to do it a little different, starting with ourselves. Take a breath and ask for a blessing for yourself, maybe even naming your own name out loud. Take another breath and ask for a blessing for your friends, your family, your neighbors, your coworkers. Take another, even deeper breath and ask for a blessing for the people who frustrate us and annoy us, maybe even infuriate us. And take the deepest breath yet, a breath to ask for a blessing for the world, all the creatures from elephants to microbes, and the planet itself. Now, finding a posture of blessing both internally and externally, maybe placing a hand over your heart, one on your belly. Join me for a brief meditation on loving kindness. Feel free to say the words with me if you know them, or just let the words fall on you. Starting with I. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. And take a breath and think about how many people the word you might include. Think first of your community of love and support. The word is you. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. Again, another deeper breath as you move through this other round, blessing a more complex and complicated version of you. Think of the specific people and maybe even name them out loud. Yes, even him. Yes, even her. Yes, even them. No one is outside this loving embrace. The word is you again. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. And one more final breath, saying a blessing for the world, all of life and this planet. The word is we. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole. And amen. In this time, your support is needed more than ever. Today's offerings will go to support the programs and visions of our church community. Please be generous. The first reading is part 2 of a poem by Cyrus Castles, Riders on the Back of Silence. As a boy, my old world aunts and uncles would weep when I entered the room. What did I have to do with sadness? Their cryptic tears and purse-tucked Kleenex were my own tantalizing Hardy Boys case to crack. Gradually, as a junior detective, I grasped how much I resembled an uncle lost in the war. And like the savvy, querying boy at the Passover Seder, become a scrupulous man, an inquisitive reporter, I set out to track my lookalikes, my family's wartime destiny. What my father marshaled against, what my mother endured, the unspoken, the unspeakable, became my mission. Though I was born in a venomless time and suburb, phantoms, chimeras breathed in our never quite here and now house, secret calendars of fire. Mother, I dreamed we were riders on the back of silence, the wild unsaid beneath us, horse, whale, behemoth. We never spoke of the war. So with stark reading, a well-thumbed diary of Anne Frank, I resolved to imagine pitiless showers, whips and watchtowers of brute commanders, their gypsy-less, Jew-less, jerry-rigged heaven. Our second reading is from the Reverend Teresa Inez Soto. You can still use your voice, every kind of voice, loud, soft, scared, mad, sign language, posters, songs, screams, laughs, many laughs, your heart language when it is not English. You can still tell the truth and use your love. And now, if I am to tell you the truth, it is this. Not only can you must. If you can, you must. Use your every kind, any kind, true and urgent kind of voice. Today's special music was written by Carol Caouette for August 1st, 2014, when marriage equality became law in Minnesota. Many of the lyrics come directly from the words of WBUUC congregants who were interviewed about that momentous time.
Someone somewhere asked the brave question, why can't I be with the one that I choose? Someone somewhere changed the direction. We're living a spiritual unfolding miracle. We claim the future by naming it love. We said daughters, fathers, mothers, and sons. It's time to do right and stop what is wrong. Just as our ancestors live in our bones, the work that we do now will live on and on. Someone somewhere asked the brave question, why can't I be with the one that I choose? Someone somewhere change the direction. We're living a spiritual unfolding miracle. We claim the future by naming it love. She said, I am recognized, I am relieved, as though I am free and now I can breathe. We're called to a covenant and to our whole lives, to have and to hold, to be fully alive. He said, now I belong in a way that is true. What matters to me now matters to you. One conversation led to another. The links in our chain increased with our power. Someone somewhere asked the brave question, why can't I be with the one that I choose? Someone somewhere change a direction. We're living a spiritual unfolding miracle. We claim the future by naming it love. We're living a spiritual unfolding miracle.
Yesterday was the day my child used a new word for the first time. "Give me a friggin' bagel," he said. Sean and I burst out laughing. This kid! We knew that Jamie was getting to be a language sponge, soaking up our speech and integrating it, trying new words, phrases, and tenses. It was why we stopped mostly using traditional curse words around him. We thought that he mostly tuned us out. We talk about all kinds of stuff that he doesn't care about during a day, and we are around him all day, every day now. Often we have to say his name several times just to get his attention. But he got it from us. Friggin', a word that means not much by itself, but is used to emphasize something important, which in this instance was a bagel. He really wanted a bagel. Our children are wonderful sponges, soaking up all that surrounds them, the love in their families and the anxiety of the world. Many of my parent friends have spoken of a time during this pandemic when their child had a meltdown about going somewhere. "I don't want to go to the park. The virus is there. I don't want to see Grandma. We don't want to give it to her. We have to wear masks, Mama." Sometimes they make us laugh by saying something unexpected, something we didn't even know they understood. "What? Why are you laughing?" my son often says, trying to understand if he made a joke or if he said something wrong. At 4, humor is still pretty confusing. Laughter can be really healing. It can lift our hearts, remind us of a shared humanity. Sometimes we laugh when we're trying to avoid harder feelings, using gallows humor to stave off the depths of our pain. And sometimes laughter can hurt others, shame, or ostracize them. Sometimes we laugh when we're uncomfortable, that's me, and sometimes we laugh when we don't know what to do. We don't know how to do anything but what everyone else is doing. Sometimes children speak the truth we cannot speak. "I'm afraid. I don't understand. That's not fair." Someone I know passed on a meme lately that said they were paying their kids 50 cents anytime they would loudly announce, "That person's not wearing a mask," in public. Another friend said they couldn't get their kid to stop pointing out other people's masklessness if they tried. There's something about a child who has not yet learned to master the social rules that shape our daily lives that can be disarming. A child who knows that there's something wrong, but not understanding why no one will speak about it. In the classic story of the Emperor's New Clothes, now reimagined by our own Assistant Director of Religious Education, Nico van Ostrand, our protagonist, Minda, understands that something is wrong. The person who has this invisible cloth is telling her one thing, but everything that she knows about the world is contradicted. She knows that she and her family are good and trustworthy, but she cannot see the cloth. Minda knows also that her parents have told her to be kind and honest, but she knows their tells and knows that they're scared of losing everything if they don't prove that they belong. Minda knows the rules. Do what's right, be honest, be kind. She speaks up and embarrasses everyone, but releases the tension, unveils the lie, and no one is exiled. I think part of why it's okay for children to speak up is that we culturally agree that knowing right from wrong is a little more concrete when you're 4 than when you're 24, 44, or 84. The wobbliness of the soapbox is a little clearer as you get bigger, not quite the solid ground that it seems when you're little. When you're small, the rules that are clear, and you either follow them or you don't. When you're 4, you push on those boundaries, but you know what they are. As we get older, into our teens and early young adulthood, we want to conform to the unspoken rules while seeming to push the boundaries on the other. We want to do what will get us into the community. We want to have people like us. So we begin to conform, or at least pretend to conform, pretend to see the invisible fabric, making sure that we don't get kicked off the island. As we come into our middle age and grow even more wise, the rules become more obviously fabricated to serve and support a single way of being in the world. And as ever wisening ones, we recognize that there are many, many ways to be in the world. We make some basic agreements, but the more rules we make, the more rules we make, the harder it is for us to breathe within them. And as we age even further into our wisdom, we come to recognize that there's a great push by society to bury and silence anything that threatens the delicate balance of the status quo. If we only pretend that everything's all right, it will magically be all right, right? And yet, as we have attained a maturity as humans, we've come to realize that we don't know how to deal with what we cannot face. The wounds of trauma run through the lives of families for generations. Physically manifested in our bodies, we are unable to heal these wounds if we don't understand where they came from. In his 7-part poem, Riders on the Back of Silence, Cyrus Castles unfolds the story of his family's experience with the Holocaust. He knows something's wrong when, as a boy, my old world aunts and uncles would weep when I entered the room. What did I have to do with sadness? Their cryptic tears and purse-tucked Kleenex were my own tantalizing Hardy Boys case to crack. Gradually, as a junior detective, I grasped how much I resembled an uncle lost in the war. And like the savvy, querying boy at the Passover Seder, become a scrupulous man, an inquisitive reporter, I set out to track my lookalikes, my family's wartime destiny. What my father marshaled against, what my mother endured. The unspoken, the unspeakable became my mission. Though I was born in a venomless time in a suburb, phantoms, chimeras breathe in our never quite there and never quite here and now house, secret calendars of fire. Mother, I dreamed we were riders on the back of silence, the wild said, unsaid beneath us, horse, a whale, a behemoth. We never spoke of the war. And yet the war haunted their home. It touched every part of the author's life. Unspoken didn't mean unimportant. Unspeakable didn't mean untouched. In many ways, the unspoken was with them as the steed they rode through the travels of their lives. And the only way to disembark is to name the beast. In later sections of the poem, Castle speaks from his mother's point of view. Finally returning to the camp where she was held, able to name the trauma, finally able to speak the name of one who helped her survive, but lost her own battle to typhus. The healing could start so many years later with the realization that her children carried on the light that was inside a beloved friend. There is very little we can do to heal our own wounds if we don't admit their presence in our lives. There is little we as Americans can do to heal the wounds of racism if white people don't admit the influence of white supremacy culture in the systems, in the everyday culture, in the everyday lives of Americans. We as adults are more likely to go along with the crowd than to speak up. Yes, even you. Even our allergic to authority, radical, Unitarian Universalists, we have a culture where you're asked to conform or leave. That's what culture is. But much of it is fairly invisible to those who find a home with us. But it is not invisible to those on the margins. To them, it is often the only thing they can see. So how do we make room for culture that is broader than our own? How do we draw our circle wide without losing the something that makes us so special? Are we even that special though? Or are we prone to that so common of American traits, individualism and exceptionalism? We're pretty cool, but not the best or the first or even the funniest out there. The way we do things has evolved over centuries and can evolve to be even more spacious and more welcoming to people who have different culture than ours. Could welcome be our culture? These are some of the lively questions that need to be asked, the unspoken that needs to be spoken. So again and again, I tell you that the key is to listen. Listen to the children saying things that we don't know how to acknowledge. Listen to the outsiders who tell us what we can't see in ourselves. Listen to the ones most affected by the problem and serve their needs. Speak the unspeakable, do the uncomfortable in service of us all. These words by the Reverend Teresa Inez Soto are written to speak to those who are in the margins, who need to know that their voices, no matter how they speak, are vital and valued. You can still use your voice. Every kind of voice, loud, soft, scared, mad, sign language, posters, songs, screams, laughs, many laughs, your heart language when it is not English. You can still tell the truth and use your love. And now, if I'm to tell you the truth, it's this. Not only can you must. If you can, you must use your every kind and any kind, true and urgent kind of voice. Let's take some time to be silent together. Now let's use our voices once again to sing My Life Flows On in Endless Song, number 108 in the hardback hymnal, but it's better known as How Can I Keep From Singing?
My life flows on in endless song. shame are undefiled. How can I keep from singing?
Join me in our closing words. May peace dwell within our hearts and understanding in our minds. May courage steel our will and love of truth forever guide us. Friends, thank you for joining us. If you're not receiving our email news, go to our website and sign up. We'll send updates twice a week about groups and gatherings, updates from the board of directors, and more. Call or write with questions or to ask for help or offer help. Please join us at 11:15 for social hour. It's a wonderful opportunity to connect with others in our congregation, to make new connections and reconnect old ones. We hope to see you there. We are sending love from WBUUC at all of our locations. Stay resilient, stay connected. So be it. See to it. Amen.
Oh, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on. I tell you, it's gone on. Oh, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on. And we won't be silent anymore. Oh, somebody's hurting my sister, and it's gone on. Yes, it's gone on. Yes, it's gone on. Don't you know somebody's hurting my brother, and he's gone on. And we won't be silent anymore. Oh, somebody's taking our health care, and it's gone on. Yes, it's gone on. Don't you know that it's gone on? Yes, somebody's hurting my children, and it's gone on. And now be silent anymore.
Did you hear somebody's voice in the water? And it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Oh, it's gone on far too long. Oh, yeah, somebody's ignoring our elders, and it's gone on. Oh, if we won't be silent anymore.
Somebody's telling some lies, y'all, and it's gone on. Well, it's gone on. Oh, it's gone on. Oh, somebody's telling some lies, and it's gone on. Oh, and we won't be silent anymore. Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. I tell you, it's gone far too long. Yes, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. And we won't be silent.